If anybody ever says to me that video games are a waste of time, I immediately say that they're wrong. And I think I have one story that heavily supports that you actually can become more intelligent by playing video games. And the game that I'm going to choose as an example is RuneScape. You see, back in 2004, I was 9 years old. And RuneScape was my favorite game. We used to do one of two things when I was a kid. We would go to the pool from 1 to 5 p.m., and 1 p.m. was when it opened. And then from 5 to 6 p.m., when the pool was taking a break, we would head over to the public library and play RuneScape for an hour, and then go back to the pool from 6 to 8 until it closed. I was playing RuneScape essentially every single day. And what I wanted more than anything in that game was to make as much gold pieces, or GP, which is what RuneScape's currency is called, as possible. Essentially, all of your problems could be solved just by having a lot of money. But there was one problem. I didn't have the patience to sit down and grind out the work that it would take to make fat stacks of cash in RuneScape. Back in 2004, this was before the time that GP was easily purchasable online. And chances are, if you were to find a site that was selling GP, you were probably going to download a virus and not actually purchase any gold at all. But I did hear some rumblings in my school that there was one person that their favorite thing to do was log into RuneScape and play as a merchant. This person would spend all their time buying things for as low of a price as possible and reselling it for as high of a price as possible. Now, this same person, I think, was probably like 7 years older than me. I don't remember their name, but they were a high schooler. I was in elementary school and they were a high schooler. So to me, they had made it in life. They'd learned everything that they were ever going to learn. And this person, I found out through the grapevine that they would sell 1 million GP, which is more money than I had ever seen in my life at that point, for $13.50. So what did I do? Well, I don't remember exactly how I made the money, but I probably did a couple of chores around the house. The point is that when it was all said and done, I had 13 $1 bills and 2 quarters in a plastic sandwich bag that I brought to the public library and met this person that was selling RuneScape GP. And so I took out this little plastic sandwich bag of money. I handed them the $13.50, and we both logged into 2 computers side by side. He logged into his account. I logged into my account. We traded the money, the 1 million gold, over to me. I got the gold, and I logged off and went back home. And I was so happy. I was so excited. I mean, I had probably worked for an entire day for that $13.50, which a day back when you're a kid is like a year in today's time. You know what I mean? So I went back home and I was salivating with all the things that I could buy with this money. So what I did was I bought full rune armor, which was like 220,000 GP back in the day. And then I bought a couple of fancy weapons. And I remember I had like 700K left over that was just sitting in my inventory. What I'm about to say next, the chances of this happening in hindsight seems so low, but it did. I remember as I was making that journey from the east side to the west side, somebody started following me. And I remember they typed in the chat, in the public chat, they said, "Hey, you look like you're strong." And I was like, damn right I look like I'm strong. I just spent 220,000 GP for this set of armor. You better believe that I'm strong. But they kept typing. They said, "I have a gullible friend, and I've convinced my friend that there's a party hat salesman deep in the wilderness." Now, there's 2 pieces of context you need to understand what that means. Party hats in RuneScape were essentially the rarest item that you could possibly buy at the time. Party hats came from like a one-off holiday event that happened in RuneScape, and it was a one-time thing. So there can never be any more party hats that entered the circulation. If you weren't there during that one specific time in RuneScape's history, the only chance you have of getting a party hat is by buying it. And number 2, the wilderness is an area where PvP can happen, where players can kill other players. And the deeper you go into the wilderness, the higher the discrepancy in the levels of players that can attack you. So if you're level, let's say you're level 67, and you step into level 1 wilderness, then anyone who's level 66 or 68 can attack you. But if you're too far outside of that range, you can't. But the deeper you go, so if you're level 67, the deeper you go, the higher the discrepancy of levels that can attack you becomes. The person that was following me said, "I have a gullible friend. I've convinced them that there's an NPC that sells party hats deep into the wilderness for very few gold pieces, and all we have to do is go there. But there's one problem. He doesn't just trust me to escort him. I need to find somebody that looks like they can actually protect him. I'm hoping you can help me with this because you have some good armor on right now, and you could probably trick him into thinking that you're a qualified bodyguard to protect him as he goes out and purchases a party hat. As he was relaying the details to me, I was thinking, okay, but so what's in it for me though? What's the catch? Like, why would I want to do this? And as I was thinking that as a kid, he said in the chat, he goes, my friend is planning on buying a lot of these party hats and he's very wealthy. So what you and me can do is when we lure him to the wilderness, we will kill him and take his money and his items and we can split it 50-50. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, it's my lucky day. So I said to him, you remember how I told you that I bought my armor, my dream armor at the time, and I had a cool weapon and everything? Well, I still had 700K left in my inventory. So I said out loud, I said, hang on, I need to run to the bank and deposit the rest of my money, and then I'm ready to go. And he goes, no. There's no time for that. We don't have time for you to do that because he's ready to buy the party hats right now. What I'll do is I'll give you some food and I'll even give you some teleportation runes. So if things end up going south, you can eat and teleport out of the wilderness so that nobody can attack you after that. And you'll be safe. And I thought to myself, perfect. Now, there's one detail of the story that I've left out so far, and it's that if you go deep enough into the wilderness in RuneScape, aka level 20 and beyond, you cannot teleport out of the wilderness. But he assured me that we wouldn't be going much farther than level 20. We'd maybe be going to like level 25. So worst case scenario, I could easily run back to level 20 and teleport away right away. In my gut, I could tell that something was up, but it just sounded like too good of an opportunity to pass up. The story that I was being told made sense. As a 9-year-old, it clicked in my head. I'm down. Let's do it. So we went out there and we stood on the edge of the wilderness. So there's like a line in RuneScape where if you cross the line, you're officially in the wilderness. And we stood on the safe side of the line. And eventually his friend showed up. And in RuneScape, you can talk publicly for everyone to see, and you can talk privately. And so he was messaging publicly so that his friend and I could see. He was saying, all right, man, are you ready to go buy your party hat? Let's do this. I got a bodyguard. And his friend is saying back at the same time, wow, he looks tough. I will certainly be safe with him watching us. I was getting professionally gaslit. You know what I mean? But privately, he was saying, oh my God, we got him so good. So he's just further gaslighting me over and over. And eventually we step into the wilderness, we cross the line, and we start running out deeper and deeper into the wilderness. And so we're crossing level 5. We're crossing level 10. And all the while, they're kind of bantering back and forth. And not necessarily bantering, but they're just talking back and forth. The one rich friend is talking about how excited he is to buy a party hat and how safe he feels. The other friend, the one that first found me and started following me when I was traveling from the bank, is saying how he's in good hands and how everything's going to be all right. And eventually we make it to level 20. So one level beyond this level, I will no longer be able to teleport out of the wilderness. But remember, they said that I would be safe and we wouldn't be going too much farther beyond that one level. And there's one last key thing you need to understand about RuneScape mechanics for this story to click. If you're in the wilderness and you attack someone first, before they attack you, you get a skull and crossbones above your head. And that means you will lose all of your items that you're currently carrying if you die. If you don't attack someone first, you will keep 3 of your most valuable items in your inventory. We get to level 23, 24, 25. And eventually, he private messages me. He says, now. And so I right-click on his friend and I click attack before his friend attacks me. And above my head, I get the skull and crossbones. So I have the best armor that I've ever bought in my life, the best weapon that I've ever bought in my life, and 700,000 gold that I worked one IRL day for, and they both instantly turn on me. And they're using spells that lock me in place. How much they're DPSing me is something that I've never dealt with or seen before. But I remember I had like 3 or 4 shark in my inventory that the guy gave me to assure me that I'd be okay. So I'm eating the shark as fast as I can, and as soon as the snares are up that they're casting on me, the snares that are holding me in place, I start running. We were in level 25 wilderness. I start running. We get to level 24, level 23. They snare me again. They DPS me again. I'm eating the shark. I run out of shark. I've eaten all the shark that I can. The snares run out. I start running. I get to level 22, 21. And right as I'm able to teleport, right as I'm able to leave the wilderness, they kill me. I don't save any items. I don't pass go. I don't collect $200. And I lose everything. Like, in hindsight, this story is genuinely funny for me. But I remember at the time, the person who remembers this story best is my own mom. Because when I was in the family computer room and this happened, I got up out of my chair and my face probably looked like I'd seen a ghost, or I had witnessed an IRL murder or something. And I walked into the kitchen where my mom was making something, and she turns around and she looks at me, and her face instantly mirrors mine. She thinks that something was wrong. She can recognize instantly by my face that something seriously terrible has happened. And she goes, "Oh my God, Trevor, what's wrong?" I told her exactly what happened. As soon as she heard that this was RuneScape related, I could kind of tell that she was fighting back a smile. She was trying to stay serious in the moment, but this seriously impacted me. I told her, "Yeah, I think I'm going to stop playing that game for a while." Keep in mind, back then, I was addicted. I played this game every single day. And this one event was so traumatic for me. Traumatic. It basically made me not want to play the game for a long period of time. Now, did I end up going back to the game maybe a month later? Yes. But I did quit the game for a long time. Now, why do I say that this made me more intelligent, or at least more aware? Like, if anything, it kind of raised my street smarts. Because if anyone ever again, for the rest of my life, tried to scam me in any way, whether it be an email phishing scam, whether it be a call that I received on my phone, whether it be just trusting my gut feeling that if I feel like something's wrong, I'm probably right, I will remember that feeling that I had from RuneScape when I lost everything that I bought for the rest of my life. I still remember it vividly. And I will carry that knowledge with me forever. So at the very least, it has made me more aware that people will say and do things that at the core are just evil. They don't give a shit about you. There is actually one more real life current 2026 example that I have learned from RuneScape that I see people falling for all the time nowadays. And it all has to do with Hawk Tuah Girl. Hawk Tuah Girl had her 50 minutes of fame that turned into 6 months of fame that turned into a year of fame. Right? As her fame started dying down, she made the Hawk Tuah coin. As you guys know the story, she made the coin, she rug pulled it, and she goes offline. Now, Hawk Tuah Girl is not the only person that's done that. In fact, there's been tons and tons of people that have made meme coins and rug pulled a whole bunch of people that bought in, and they've lost a lot of money while that one person or the one group of people that made the meme coin profit immensely. Do you want to know how I knew instantaneously that meme coins are a scam? Because in RuneScape, when they came out with the Grand Exchange, which is essentially just like the auction in World of Warcraft, it's a place where you can buy and sell every tradable item. You can put up any price you want. The in-game market has an algorithm that reflects the accurate price range of each item, but sometimes items would sell for way more than that or way less than that, depending on what the actual supply and demand of each item was. And there would be clans in RuneScape that would say, join up with us if you want to make money. If you want to profit off merchanting, off the Grand Exchange, off the GE, join this clan and we will tell you the items to invest in. And so you join the clan and they'd say, we're going to buy flax seeds, for example. That's the next hot item that we think is going to have a huge profit margin. Anyone that would join the clan would instantly start investing whatever amount of money that they possibly could into whatever item was being advertised in the clan. And then after a while, they'd say, okay, that you can sell whatever item we have now. Now we're moving on to the next item. And what would tend to happen is everybody in the clan would lose money. But there would be a couple of people that would be like, oh my God, I profited hugely off this because I got in early enough. And those would be the scammers, right? Because what was actually happening behind the scenes is before they ever announced the item, they would pump all of their money into the flaxseed to drive up the price as high as possible. And after they invested all of their money, then they would tell everyone to start buying. That would be the next hot commodity that everyone would need to start investing in. The people that started doing this before they ever made an announcement, that got in as early as possible, a lot of insider trading going on, they were the only ones that were making money. And that was their testimonials to get people to buy in. So when I see people making meme coins, and then having people invest into it, and then rug pulling it out from underneath them. It's the exact same principle as what used to happen in the beginning of RuneScape during the Grand Exchange. There's actually a decent amount of life lessons that I've learned from playing RuneScape that I've since been able to apply to my everyday life today, even as an adult, that I learned by playing that game. Are video games a waste of time? Yeah, maybe sometimes. But I also feel like going out and being able to make mistakes in video games so that you can save yourself from making those mistakes in the real world is something that, number one, does happen, and number two, is a great way to teach you valuable lessons. Thanks so much for watching. Please do not subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Like the video and comment or something, and chances are my next video is going to show up in your recommendation feed anyway.